Alright, so good morning. Let's begin with our topic today, Listening Skills Enhancement 2.0. Before, our lecture title was changed into its 2.0 version. We used to have two lectures for listening. So we used to have two separate lectures, one for the discussion itself and the other for the practice. But we made some modifications and now all you have to do is to attend this lecture. Everything you need to know about the listening subtest will be incorporated to your skills.
Hello.
So as the name of the topic implies, our goal is to not just enhance skills, because primarily for people who don't have the skills yet for their listening subtest, we want to acquire them first. So what you need to do is to be familiar with the details of the examination as a whole, what preparations you have to make if necessary, what adjustments you have to do during the process, until you can gain some several scores which are above your target band score. Okay? Let's share some good news about the listening subtest first. Well, if you are an applicant, if you're a candidate who is looking for a band score that when you combine together will yield what we refer to as OBS or overall band score, then look no further, because listening is your saving grace. No? This will be your light at the end of the tunnel. Because if you only have limited time to prepare, or your background in English, in general not IELTS related pa, no? Kasi ibang level yung IELTS, especially for writing and speaking, it's not yet polished, and you have a very limited period to prepare, and you're looking for a high band score, this is not a realistic thing to achieve. But somehow, if you are only looking for OBS, so if you combine listening score, reading, writing, speaking score, together, it will produce that OBS. So one of the few reasons why when I have new students, I ask them, where are you planning to go? What module are you planning to take? It's because those are essential information in helping you, for us to be able to help you understand how much effort you have to put into your preparation. Because sadly, merong mga estudyante po, no? Especially mga pupunta ng UK, pupunta ng New Zealand, and they will be working as a teacher. May student tayo once na his target was to be a teacher in Australia. Sayang kung meron pa lang sana siyang konting-konting time, kasi na-late siya ng take ng exam. Kaya sana kinulang ng 0.5. Hindi OBS yun. Separate individual scores. So just to give you this perspective, if I am a nurse who's planning to go to the UK, I need to get 7 listening, 7 reading, 7 speaking, 6.5 writing. So meaning, kung yung listening ko, ma-9 ko, ma-perfect. Yung reading ko, ma-8 ko. So lagpas-lagpas pa siya, di ba? But yung writing, speaking ko, tig 5 lang. Even though I add them together, it produces 6.5 still. I will not be able to go there. Now, the thing is different when you're planning to go to the US. Because one of my college friends got 8 in speaking. He was able to only get 5 in reading. So, can you imagine the discrepancy? Sa 8, isa 5. Sobrang laki ng distansya ng skill difference, ano? But he was still able to work there. Because the US wants Filipino nurses to get only speaking of 7 and OBS of 6.5. Yung dalawang requirement na ngayon. Now, you have to ask yourself, where am I planning to go? What purpose am I using the IELTS results form? So if you're going to use it for immigrant, especially kung Canada, New Zealand, meron silang mga tinatawag dyan na CLB. Sometimes kapag UK naman, sa Europe naman na country, CEFR ang tawag dyan. No? European Language Equivalent, ang ibig sabihin nun. CLB naman is Canadian Language Band, ang tawag nila. So, to understand this simply, si CLB, mas mababa siya ng 0.5 kaysa sa OBS. Parang sinabi sa'yo, you have to get CLB 7. Huwag ka matakot kasi kailangan mo makakuha ng 7 for the entire thing. It just means na kailangan makakuha ng score na hindi bababa sa 6.5. Alin man doon sa mga individual subtests mo. So, the good news I would like to share is that if you're looking for this OBS, if you're looking for CLB, CEFR, yung mga equivalent na summary, no? Yung sum, yung average, yung 4 na subtests mo, you have to enhance your listening score. You have to pump your listening scores. Why? Kasi, as I've mentioned, if your English in general is not that polished and you only have limited time to prepare, let's be realistic, probably chances of you getting 6 in speaking is about 90%. First timer. Okay? Writing, somewhat the same. So let's think about the worst case scenario. Pwedeng mo sa baba dyan. Speaking and writing. Reading. You know what I refer to reading now? I call reading as the dark horse of the test. Because people will return after the review. Not because of writing, not because of speaking, not because of listening, not because of this fucking easy exam. Napakadali na. But because of reading. Gugulat kami, no? 8 sa listening, 4.5 sa reading. Ano nangyari? No? Talagang gumuho. So, we don't want to take the reading subtest for granted. That's why when I overhauled my reading subtest, I change it into reading super major talaga ang tawag natin dyan. No? So, the national average of Filipino test takers in listening is 7. So meaning, if I am a candidate who's looking for a band 7, who's looking for, let's say, an OBS of 6, so 7 listening, 5 reading, 6 writing, speaking, kaya. Walang review yun, ha? Kasi, sabihin ko na sa inyo, more than 75% of the Filipino test-taking population is not acquainted in any review centers. And yet, we, as an entire nation, still was able to secure a band 7 in listening. How amazing that is. Can you imagine? Gano'n tayo kagaling sa listening. Ganun din tayo kagaling sa writing. Ganun din tayo kagaling sa speaking. So, if you can imagine, no review, more than 3/4 of the entire population of the test-taking candidates here in the Philippines was able to manage a band 7. That is without idea at all. So sa madaling sabi, lumabas ako dyan, umugot ako ng 3 tricycle driver tsaka isang sales lady dyan sa Green Lights Home Depot. Makaka-7 yung 3 doon, makaka-6.5 yung isa. That is what the figures are telling us. So ibig sabihin naman nun, hindi ko naman sinasabi na, sir, paano po yan? Ibig sabihin po ba nun, tanga kami, nandun kami sa outlier na lower limit. Kasi first time ko pong nag-take ng listening, nakakuha po ako ng 5. Actually, this is just an exercise, a diagnostic procedure that we use so that you can understand that even an easy test like listening is something that you shouldn't take for granted. Kasi if you don't have the essential skills, if you don't have the necessary attributes for you to be able to survive, no? For you to be able to get an average of 7, then you have to exert more effort. So, sa akin naman, may mga estudyante ko na nag-i-start ka dito, 4 pa. Oh, and then they will do their practice, they will attend their lessons, and then by the end of their review program, natapos sila mag-review, nakakakuha na sila ng mga 8. So from 4, from 5, from 6, I want you to grow. No, I want you to enhance. I want you to use the skills that you will learn today to take them to the next level so that every after practice that you do, you will be able to acquire even a tiny improvement. Kasi the reason why we're here is we are trying to introduce you to the concept of the actual exam. We want you to have sufficient information. We want you to gain experience so that by the time you get there, dahil praktisado ka sa mga simulations, hindi ka na masyadong mangangapa. Diba? Okay. So that's what our topic will be about. Once again, this is still an easy test. Now, this is the easiest out of the 4 subtests. So hindi ito dapat sobrang, alam mo yan, hardcore. Enough preparation. But majority of your effort should be channeled to the difficult tests. Iba-iba yan. May iba nahihirapan sa speaking, doon ka mag-focus. May iba nahihirapan sa reading, doon ka mag-focus. So, but listening in general is a practically easy test. No? That anyone, every single one of you here can survive. Yeah. So, 4 sections. In the past, maririnig mo ito sa audio, Section 1, Section 2, Section 3, Section 4. Ngayon, pinalitan nila ito noong 2020, ginawa nilang Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4. So the total number of items will be 40. Remember the listening subtest, it doesn't care whether you're academic or GT. So regardless of your module, kung ACAD ka man o general training ka man, iisang audio, iisang test ang iti-take yung lahat sabay-sabay. In the past nga kapag nagtitake tayo sa pen and paper based exam, sama-sama kayo sa isang hotel venue, no? Tapos may speakers doon, malalaki na speakers. Yun ang audio source nyo. Tapos sabay-sabay nagtitake ang ACAD at GT. So there is no discrepancy, there's no difference whatsoever, no? Out of the 40 items though, individual candidates must get 30 correct points. So 30 out of 40 guarantees a band 7. So kanina pa ako 7 ng 7 ng 7. Well, kadalasan kasi, our band requirement, kung gusto mo mag-study sa Australia, kung gusto mo mag-work as a nurse sa UK, yun ang mga minimum na target. But quite recently, may mga nakikita tayo, gusto nila maging engineer sa Australia, gusto nila maging surgeon sa UK, which is sa mga student ko, gano'n. Kailangan nila ng 8 sa listening. So, unless meron kang special exam na kailangan i-take doon, mas mataas yung requirement sa'yo ng exam. So, how long will the test last? Actually, 30 minutes lang po talaga yung duration ng entire exam. Kaya po naging 40 ito because in the past, we used to take the pen and paper based exam only. So, when you say pen and paper based exam, imagine niyo yung scenario, no? Imagine niyo lang po. Sabay-sabay nag-take ang mga candidates ng test. Nakinig sila ng audio, habang nakikinig sila ay nagno-note. So yung na-note nila na yun, isasalin nila sa kanilang answer sheet. That is why there is an extra 10 minutes time. This will now be utilized for you to transfer your answers from your test booklet to your answer sheet. But, makinig mabuti. If you are a candidate who is planning, who is bound to take the computer-delivered exam, there is no extra time for you to transfer. Because automatically, as you listen for this 30-minute duration, while the audio is playing, you are interacting with your answers. You are using your keyboard, you're using your mouse, you're using the tables within the monitor, within your scope. So, as you interact with them, your answers are automatically uploaded, are automatically transcribed to a virtual answer sheet. Sir, isn't it unfair? Actually, that is the only negative thing about computer-based tests. Kasi you have to do good at multitasking. You have to be good at multitasking. Kasi you are listening, you're processing the information from the audio source, you're looking at the monitor, as you interpret what is happening all together, and then you need to answer. So that's going to require critical thinking skills, active listening skills, and at the same time, it will require your multitasking. So if you aren't good at that, I suggest that you do the pen and paper based exam because up until today, viable option pa rin naman yun. The problem though, is that if you take the pen and paper based exam, the pen and paper-based examination will produce your results after 15 days pa. So, can you imagine the agony? Gaano ka katagal maghihintay? 15 araw kang balisa, hindi makatulog, hindi makakain kasi iniisip mo kung bagsak ka o pasa. Only for you to find out na, oh, bagsak pala ako. Tapos cut off na yung university na ina-applyan mo. Deadline na. Hindi ka nakaabot. So, if you are in a hurry, and if you wanted the benefit of getting your scores quickly, do the computer-based exam. But kung hirap ka mag-multitask, kung hirap ka mag-process ng mabibilis na information, I suggest that you take the pen and paper-based exam. Wala pong ibang magsasabi, hindi ako, hindi ang branch na ito, hindi ang mga kasama ko magsasabi na, mag-computer-based ka kasi ganito. Ikaw ang mamimili niyan. Kung kailan mo gusto mong mag-exam, ikaw ang magdedesisyon yan. Hindi kami nasa posisyon para sabihin sa iyo kung pwede o hindi. Kahit nga, gusto mo mag-take ng exam bukas, hindi ka namin pipigilan. It's going to be completely up to you when and where, what method do you want to take your exams. Okay? Remember, regardless of the type of test, the recording is played only once. Meaning, you will not be able to hear it the second time. Walang ulit. Ay, ano nga ulit narinig ko? Yun. Doon lago tayo doon. Pag ganun. Okay, that is why you have, as I've mentioned, it requires active listening skills. No? Listen intently. Listen with the intention of getting the answers. Listen with the intention of acquiring information. Follow the example. This is very crucial. Marami pong nababawasan, nakakaltasan ng puntos dahil dito. Sipin mo, 30 points correct ka na. Dahil lang sa technicalities na hindi mo nasunod yung example, may penalty ka na 1. O ilan na lang yan? 29. Hindi na 7 yun. 6.5 na siya. Nakuha niyan? Okay, so we have to follow the example. What we call follow the format of the example given. And please don't fall asleep. That is why you have to be physically, mentally prepared before you take your examination. Huwag po kayong mag-inom ng alak. Huwag kayong maggala the night before. Ang celebration pagkatapos. No? Doon na tayo magwalwal. Yan. Colored papers. Ito po yung traditional nating papel. Kung ito guys, kung pen and paper based po ang exam. Kung mapapansin nyo, meron po tayo ditong markings, check at saka cross. Yan po ay para sa examiner. Kalagay marker use only. Dahil pag yan po ay sinulatan mo, naku po, Diyos ko po, wag naman sana. Pag yan po ay nabahiran mo ng kahit anong sulat dyan, itong part na to, hindi ka na makakakuha ng score. Sayang. I-instruct naman po yan sa inyo kung kayo ay magpa-pen and paper-based na exam. So wag po. Baka makasuwang ka pa dyan ng cheating. Pag nakasuwang ka sa IELTS ng cheating, ibaban ka nila sa pagtitik ng exam, tapos i-report ka pa nila sa ibang test. Kasi ang IELTS yan ang nanay ng PTE, ng OET, ng CELPIP, KL, CELBAN. Diyan nila binabagay ang assessment. So, i-report ka niya IELTS mo. Meron akong estudyante dito for cheating baka mag-take ng exam sa'yo kung nang pagtitaken yan. Influential pong exam si IELTS. 80s pa lang meron na yan. So, may questions po so far? Yung mga nasa Zoom, si Iris, si Mario, si Rhea, baka meron po kayong mga tanong during our discussion. You can use the chat feature of our Zoom so that I can attend to it immediately para masagot natin. Gusto ko nagtatanong kayo para narinig din ng iba yung potential na maging sagot. Once again, it is completely up to you. What method do you want to take your exams? Ang computer-based, meron din yung advantage. Kasi kung sa pen and paper-based, kailangan mong isulat literally lahat ng answer. Kay computer-based, i-click-click mo lang Habang nakikinig ka, select lang. So, pakinggan natin ang difference ng pen and paper and computer-delivered IELTS through this link. Pero dahil wala na tayong time para YouTube pa, i-play na natin siya ngayon.
For the listening test, you can change the volume by using the volume bar in the top right at any time during the test. For each part of the listening test, you will hear the recording once only. Some parts of the test have more than one type of question. Each type of question has its own instructions. In the listening test, listen carefully for the part number and question numbers to make sure you are looking at the right screen. For some questions, you need to write your answer in the gap. For some questions, you need to choose which diagram label.
And so let me pause here. So, yung sinasabi ko, multitask, processing information, acting quickly, no? In this part, halimbawa, sinabi dyan, no? Ito yung narinig yung audio. I would like to ask you some directions because I'm planning to visit the quilt shop. Quilt shop! It is opposite of the bank. On the western side, on the corner of Ash and Main Street. So, nasabi dyan, corner of Main at saka Ash, opposite ng bank. So, hindi pwedeng si Iyon. Nakukuha? Opposite ng bank, corner ng Ash Street at saka ng Main Street. Sir, teka lang, opposite din naman na ito ng bank eh. Di ba? Eto, Ash Street pa rin ito, tama ba? O ba't hindi pwedeng si E? O kasi, nandun daw siya sa west. Papunta siya sa west. Si E, papunta siya sa north. Nakukuha yon. So, you have to be good with processing information. So, pag nakuha mo yung answer, A, click mo lang yun. Automatically, yun ay magiging answer mo for 21. Once again, pwede ko kasing i-verbalize. Naintindihan niyo? Pwede ko ikwento sa inyo. Halimbawa, Sir, bumbero. Diba? Pwede niyong ikwento sa akin, ganito kasi, pag may hahawak ka ng hose, nagets mo yan, nasaksak mo siya dito, tapos counterclockwise, pwede mo siyang ikwento sa akin. Pero iba yung first-hand experience. Tama ba? Pag the drive, pwede ko kwento sa'yo, dapat hawak mo to, yung clutch, ganyan. Pero iba pagka dinrive mo siya. Ganito din sa exam. That is why people, I am encouraging you na kapag meron po kayong time, we have Tuesdays and Thursdays available for what we call as your mock examination. So sa mock exam, ang amin pong kumpanya ay gumastos ng 400,000 para gumawa ng software na kamukhang ng exam. Yung IT company na gumawa ng exam ay hinire namin mismo, sila po ang gumawa ng aming mock. At yan po ay in-upload namin dyan sa aming mga computers, no? Kung saan ang ilan sa inyo ay dyan nagbabalak mag-exam. Imagine niyo, gaano kagandang home court advantage yun. Doon ka nagpa-practice. Yung pinapractice mong exam, yung mga dating exam. So yung level of difficulty niya, same level of difficulty of the actual test. So hindi siya virtual lang eh. Siya ay actual simulation. Okay? So that we can understand anong score ang pwede mong makuha kung ngayon ang exam mo. So once again, you can watch this video on repeat. I can tell you stories how to take the test. I can go on for hours. No? But nothing beats real life, hands-on experience. That is why I suggest that if you have time, please come to the branch during Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 o'clock. Sir, paano po yan? Meron po akong trabaho. Po ako makakapunta dyan kasi ang trabaho ko po ay 8 to 5. At tuwing Sabado nga lang po ako nakakapag-attend ng klase. Pwedeng Zoom yun, pwedeng replay. So ano pong ma-recommend nyo sa amin? Meron po kaming website kung saan pwede nyong i-take yung mock. Just send us a direct message dun sa aming Facebook page. Sa Niner Kabanatuan page. At i-send po namin sa inyo yung link. Na? Okay. Huwag nyo po yun masyadong i-share sa iba, lalo kung hindi naman enrollee kasi pagka tumaas yung internet traffic dun sa website na yon, kasi mini-maintain lang natin yung certain level ng nagpa-practice. Kaya po ang branch natin, tuwing Martes at Huwebes lang, sa ibang branch, ibang araw naman sila, no? So, nating abusuhin kasi nga, magka-captcha. So habang nag-i-exam kami, mga magpa-pop up na mga CAPTCHA. So, hindi magiging pleasant yung real life experience na gusto nating imimik. Na? So tuloy tayo. Sa case naman na to, yung drag and drop na tinatawag, for example, si Funnel Cake Factory ay matatagpuan sa Birdtown. So i-click mo tong Funnel Cake Factory, lalagay mo siya dito, bibitawan mo yung mouse mo ngayon, malalaglag na yung si Funnel Cake Factory dito, yun na ang sagot mo for item 27. So ang daming types of test. May clicks, merong matching, merong selecting factors, merong selecting choices, multiple choice, fill in the blanks. So yung mga ilan-ilan ding questions na you literally have to type in your answers. For example, ang sagot mo ay sugar, S-U-G-A-R. Kailangan mo siya talagang spell out. So tuloy.
A, B, C, etc. is correct for which item listed in the table? For each question, click on the correct space in the table. For some questions, you need to click on an answer and move it into the gap.
Drag and drop.
If you want to change an answer, move another answer into the gap. If you want to leave the question unanswered, move the question back. And for some questions,
Okay. In certain cases, di ba sabi ko sa inyo, meron kayong 2 minutes to check your answers. So let's say, sir, tapos na lahat. Tapos, meron akong missed item. Halimbawa, si item 17, wala akong answer. Wala po akong sagot. Ano pong marirecommend nyo dyan? Well, do what we call a calculated hypothetical guess. So, ibig sabihin, aralin mong maigi, ano ba yan? Ano ba pwede kong ihula dyan? Again, ang panghuhula, hindi lang po basta-basta. Halimbawa, 17, paborito mong chichirya ay dingdong. Hindi naman dingdong lang basta ilalagay mo sa 17, tama ba? Kailangan mo rin pag-isipan. Ano bang pwede nating ihula dyan? So, may girls accommodation tayo dito. Meron tayong boys accommodation. May mga iban tayo na ilagay na answers dyan. Ang pinamimilian natin dito is cookery, pottery, at staff accommodation. Yan. Okay, bakit is staff accommodation? Dahil puro accommodation to. Bakit? Pwede namang ilagay dito yung accommodation sa staff lounge. Kasi, ang sagot mo dyan, narinig mo, na yun yung kitchen. Dahil yung mga staff, sila ang magpe-prepare ng food dito at yung staff lounge katabi ng kitchen para doon sila magpahinga. Yun na yung sagot Literal, narinig mo, may sagot yung 18 So, si staff accommodation, yung, again, hula mo. Nasagot dito kay number 17. Hula lang again, hula lang. Kasi, we want to provide answers to all the items even if we have to guess. Because, if you leave items blank, it will automatically be incorrect. So, somehow, baka tsumamba ka. Hindi ko sinasabi na hulaan mo ang karamihan ng sagot because as a matter of fact, you have to put focus in listening to everything. You have to really adjust your listening skills so that you can acquire as many answers as you can. But in such cases na talagang sobrang bilis, na na-miss mo entirely yung isang item or worse, dalawang item, yan. Sige, sa 16, ano kaya yung pwede nating isagot dyan? Ano kaya yung pwedeng sagot nyo sa 16? Sports complex, bakit? Laki May sports complex sa bang ganyang kaliit? Wala naman, di ba? Paano kung maglalagay ng basketball, squash, football, volleyball, tennis court dyan kung maliit, di ba? So, yun yung tinatawag nating hypothetical guess. Wala tayong narinig na audio. We are just using the whatever means necessary para bigyan ng answer, potential answer, yung item.
You need to move an answer into a gap on a diagram. At the end of the listening test, you'll have 2 minutes to check all of your answers. The tests will automatically stop when the time finishes.
Okay. So the perfect score is 9. Minimum target is 30 so that we can get 7. So before listening, you're given time to read the questions in advance. This is where you encircle or underline keywords. Unfortunately, para sa pen and paper-based test, wala po tayong way para ma-encircle yung mga keyword because wala tayong means to highlight. So, anong gagawin mo? Remember your keywords. During listening, you have to listen intently, take some notes using keywords you've identified. Once again, wala pong notes sa computer base. You have to place your answers up front. You have to directly type them down. After listening, never fail to review your answers. You're given time to check your answers after each section is finished. So, si listening ang pinakamabait pagdating sa time. Bibigyan ka niya ng 30 seconds to look for the questions before you read them. Bibigyan ka niya ng time para makinig at bibigyan ka niya ng time to check after the section is done. Remember that your examination contents vary in difficulty. The difficulty level increases as we progress towards the end. So yung first 20 items, mas madali compared sa remaining 21 to 40 items. Why? Because the first 20 items are related more in a social context scenario where most of us have encountered them as well. So may mga dialogues dyan about transactions. Nakapag-try na siguro kayong tumawag sa phone, sa isang agency, nakatawag na kayo sa isang renting service, nakatawag na kayo sa Airbnb, nagpabook na kayong hotel, ng restaurant, nagpa-deliver na kayo, So, marami ditong mga common scenarios na we ourselves even were able to encounter, experience firsthand. Si Section 2, this is going to be an informational call. So, you will no longer hear two people. By the way, dagdag ko lang sa Section 1, dalawang tao ang nagsasalita. One person asking, inquiring for information. The second person giving, supplying the information. So, ano ba ang mga importanteng information? Name, di ba? Time, date, cost, serial number, student ID number, ATM number, flight number, passport number, expiration dates, meron addresses. Meron dito, parang tumawag siya kasi nag-i-inquire siya tungkol sa nakita niyang pinost online na binibentang motor. So, ang tinatanong niya, ilan yung capacity ng motor, ilang cc yung kanyang makina, anong manufacturer, pang ilang owner na siya, ilan na yung mileage. Nagigets yung point? So, may nagtatanong at may nagbibigay ng information. So, you have to put a lot of effort in giving value to the information that they will provide. So, general everyday scenarios of social context. Monologue siya ng one person. Halimbawa, pinag-iingat ang publiko sa mga nakawan sa tren. So, diba, this is a public service warning how to be safe and avoid being robbed in a train. Yan. Sa Section 3, school training related, eto marami nang nagsasalita dyan. Minsan, 4 pa nga, So, the problem about Section 3 is that it is confusing. Sino dun si Mary, sino si John, sino si Joseph, Sa 4, school training related, academic context, monologue siya. Bakit mahirap si Section 4? Because your answers are no longer nouns. Your answers here are verbs and adjectives. And remember, verbs and adjectives have forms. So if your verb form is not proper, it's not appropriate to the situation, it is wrong. So, nakalagay sa question number, let's say, 37. Yan. Nakalagay dyan is B blank. Rice must be blank before cooking. Ang narinig mo, we need to wash the rice first before we cook it. So, ang sagot mo, yun yung mismong narinig mo, wash. Meron kang B dito sa sentence. So, yung wash na sagot mo, dahil yun naman talaga yung narinig mo, is still wrong because it does not comply to the grammar expression of your test questionnaire. So, dapat, dahil may be verb ka dyan, washed na siya. So, yun yung mga technicalities dito sa Section 4. Kaya siya mahirap. Akala natin, ang dali-dali ng Section 4. Mga ganyan lang yan nagulat ka, wala kang itinama, maski isa. Because of those technicalities. Singular must be singular, plural must be plural. So, may mga clue naman kung singular. Pag may S, may ES, yan. So, inaaral naman natin yan sa grammar. Actually, meron tayong dalawang barriers to listening. The first one is speed. The problem is, we can't do anything with speed. We cannot make it go fast or slow. Because that speed is already embedded with the audio. Yan na siya talaga. Pero, guys, I would like to share that your audio speed is actually slower than real life. Kasi kapag nag-uusap sila, ganito sila mag-usap eh. No? Hey, Yumi, you seem worried. What are you worried about? Well, I have a lot of assignments. So Yumi said that she is worried because she has a lot of assignments. The answer is letter D. Ganon silang kabagal mag-usap. Sa totoong buhay, wala namang ganon mag-usap eh. Hi, how are you? Walang ganon totoong mag-usap eh. So binabagalan na to in such a way so that you can get the answers. Kaya nga, andali po ni listening eh. Ngayon, how can you adapt to the speed? How can you adapt to the accent? Kasi si accent, kung wala tayong pwedeng magawa sa speed, kay accent meron tayong pwedeng magawa. Anong pwede natin gawin kay accent? Familiarize ourselves. No? Familiarize ourselves with the accent. So anong types of accents ang meron? We have American, British, and Australian. Oftentimes, may encounter ka dyan na Chinese accent. Like, itong si Yumi, Chinese accent itong konti. Kasi from Hong Kong exchange student siya. Meron din tayo na-encounter na Filipina accent, Hong Kong. No? Kunwari, domestic helper siya doon. Yun. Pero majority ng accent nyo ay American, British, at Australian. So, American for the very lucky few. British is commonly used in the IELTS exam. And Australian for those who are cursed. Naku po, no? Mahirap po yan. Pakinggan natin. So we have here a social experiment conducted by a certain university in the US where they asked participants from all across the globe. Meron nga ditong Quezon City at saka Nueva Ecija. No? Papabigkas nila ito sa native na nakatira doon. At ikukumpara nila anong differences. So same ng paragraph. Bakit itong paragraph na to ang napili nila? Because virtually all the phonetic alphabet can be found in this paragraph. No? So pakinggan natin how an American person will pronounce this.
Please call Stella, ask her to bring these things with her from the store. 6 spoons of fresh snow peas, 5 thick slabs of blue cheese, and maybe a snack for her brother Bob. We also need a small plastic snake and a big toy frog for the kids. She will scoop these things up into 3 red bags, and we will go meet her Wednesday at the train station.
Okay. So one of the features of the American accent is that they speak rather fast. They speak as if their tongue rolls. No? Kaya nga yung sinasabing kinakain yung salita. Because if they pronounce the words such as mountain, they say mountain, certain, cotton. That's how they pronounce words. Ang effect nun, ang tawag natin dyan ay glide. So they glide through the pronunciation. Kaya, you also need a small plastic snake and a big toy frog for the kids. Wala siyang spaces. But, Filipinos, tayong mga Pinoy, we do not have to adjust that much when it comes to American accent. Why? Because our second language, English, is featured as an American accent. Batak tayo dyan. Mga pelikulang pinapanood natin. Di ba? Mga TV shows na pinafollow natin. What else? Mga songs na pinapakinggan natin. O Taylor Swift. Sino pa? Mga American singers. Di ba? Dami. O, lahat yun ay mga American singers. Yung mga luma, mga Eagles. Mga banda. Nirvana. O. Ano ba? Mga NBA players. Na American na, sila Lebron. Oh, gano'n sila magsalita. Kung paano sila, naiintindihan nyo sila magsalita, naiintindihan nyo to. Gets? Okay? Mga pinapakinggan yung rapper. O si Si Post Malone, si Snoop Dogg, si Eminem. Kung naiintindihan niyo yung sinasabi nila, naiintindihan niyo to. So, British. So, si British po, by the way, is the most common accent in the exam kasi this is where it is being recorded sa University of Cambridge. Doon siya nire-record. At trivia, hindi po talaga mga Americans or mga Australian yung mga nagsasalita na to. Ginagaya lang nila. Kaya ang tendency maging OA. Kaya pag nag-exam, parang madali lang naman talaga ang accent pag Australian. Pero dahil, I guess, ino-OA nila para magdating American, British, or Australian. Kasi mga estudyante to sa University of Cambridge. No? So ito na yung British.
Please call Stella. Ask her to bring these things with her from the store. 6 spoons of fresh snow peas, 5 thick slabs of blue cheese, and maybe a snack for her brother Bob. We also need a small plastic snake and a big toy frog for the kids. She can scoop these things into 3 red bags and we will go meet her Wednesday at the train station.
And so one of the features of British accent is that sometimes their R and T are gone. So for example, si Ed Sheeran, ang narinig niyo siya kumanta, yung better niya, better. You have to get better. Harry Potter. No, wala yung mga T, wala yung mga R. Sometimes they overpronunciate the letter like that. Sometimes they don't pronounce it at all. So that's the problem with British accent. So sino mga pinakakilala nating British accent? Ayan. Si Sarah Diskaya, di ba? O, si Peppa Pig. Okay? Si Mr. Bean. Hindi, mga banda, ayan. One Direction. British boy band yan. Ano pa? Si Adele. Okay? British singer. 1975, yan, napaka-heavy ng accent nila. Yung banda na yan. Yung girls nila, Ghost. Yun na yung pronunciation ng girls, Ghost. Parang multo na eh, no? Sino pa? Oasis. Kaka-reunion lang nila. Huh? Alam niyo ba yung banda na yan? Ba naman? Nakayong ano sa mundo? Banda tanda ng mga estudyante ko. Dahil charot lang. Medyo matandang banda na din yan. Yung Queen. British yan. Kumanta na We Will Rock You. Freddie Mercury. Di ba? Oh. Dami. Australian na accent. Ito na. So, sabihin ko na, kung American yon, Australian yan, wala kang problemahin eh. Ito ang problema. Pakinggan nyo.
Please call Stella. Ask her to bring these things with her from the store. 6 spoons of fresh snow peas, 5 thick slabs of blue cheese, and maybe a snack for her brother Bob. We also need a small plastic snake and a big toy frog for the kids. She can scoop these things into 3 red bags, and we'll go meet her Wednesday at the train station.
Irina, di ba? Sabi ko nga kanina, yung August lang, simple.
Parang mas mahirap na konti sir yung yung sa American kasi sumasayad eh. Kaya hindi ko naintindihan yung 3 red bags kay American.
Yung August, na pronunciation nila, it's August. Yung 9 nila, Noy. Yung good day, Gidday. Diba? So, think about how difficult it is to follow, no, the words if you're doing the test. Sabi ko, pag pumikit ka dyan, nalala ko naiintindihan ng words. Eh. No? So that's how critical. You know, I only have one advice if you're having problems. Yes, sir. Again, kanya-kanya tayo. Ang naging problem niya, American. Karamihan, ang nagiging problem, Australian. Listen to your audio all day long. Hanggang what time po need makapunta sa branch. Actually, ang cut-off natin is around 2 p.m. eh. So, between 9 and 2 p.m., pwede kayong pumunta ng branch. So, mabalik tayo sa lesson. You have to listen to your accents all day long. Nagpo-post naman po kami. For example, Tuesday, ang pinopost ko dyan, kasi nga nakamak tayo, wala tayong klase, pero nagpo-post ako ng replay para sa mga academic. Pag Thursday, doon ko naman pinopost yung accent. So it's either magkaklase si Ma'am Shani ng accent ng Wednesday or magpo-post ako ng replay ng accent ng Thursday. So pakinggan mo lang siya. Kasi habang naglalaba ka, habang nagda-drive ka, habang naglilinis ka ng bahay, you don't have to answer questions, ha? You just have to get used to it. Pakinggan mo lang siya ng pakinggan. So we have multiple choice questions, pinakamadali. Sample.
Section 3. Listen to a female student, Amina, talking to her tutor, Dr. Bryson, about her project on local history. Amina has completed a first draft of the project. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 26.
So may time ka to look at questions, local, so yung mga antayin mo mamaya, like, surprised. Yeah.
Now listen carefully to the first part of the discussion and answer questions 21 to 26.
Well, Amina, thanks for letting me have your draft in such good time.
Oh, that's all right. I was just very anxious to hear what you think of it. You can see that I decided to change the topic.
Hey.
I had been interested in looking at Bering's factory.
Oh, I think the hospital was a much better choice. In fact, well, I have to say that I thought it was good.
Oh.
There's still lots of work to be done,
Oh, yes, of course.
but there's plenty of good ideas. It opens well, and the first chapter is fine, but the middle section really stood out for me. Most interesting.
That's amazing, because I really didn't find it a bit easy to write.
How long did you work on the whole thing?
Well, I spent about 2 or 3 weeks reading and doing general research, and then...
Alright, so sabi niya, I decided to change the topic. I think that the hospital, which is yung current niya na project, is a much better choice than the factory na una niyang naging project. So hospital is our answer. Dr. Bryson particularly liked, sabi niya sa introduction, it opens well. So yung bang well, magandang word? Yes. First chapter is fine. Yung bang fine, magandang word? Yes then. But the middle section, ito yung sinabi niya, really stood out for me. Most interesting. So ikukumpara mo yung fine, well, tsaka yung really stood out well for me, most interesting. Doon ako sa middle section that really stood out for me, most interesting. Na talaga nagustuhan ni Dr. Bryson. So C ang sagot natin sa 22. Sabi niya, I didn't find it easy to write. Is that so? Talaga ba? Nagulat siya kasi hindi ako nadalian dyan. I found it difficult to do is synonymous with didn't find it easy. That's why letter C is also our answer for number 23. So ganun po ang ating multiple choice. We have gap fill. May maps dyan. Pakinig natin yung map. Ito po ang pinakamahirap ng map.
Well, here we are at the top of the tower, and we're going to look at the view from each direction. Out to the east, the large buildings about 1 kilometre away are on the Olympic site. There's an indoor arena for gymnastics, a stadium for track and field, and a...
Okay, cut ko lang na. Tulad ng sabi ko, wala po tayong note-taking. Ito pong red na marking na to, ito po ay nagsisimbolo ng aking daliri. No? So, kung lang ma-imagine nyo, no? Kasi, the way how you interact with your monitor, with your mouse, with your keyboard, go something like this. Yung mata mo nakatingin sa monitor, yung tenga mo nakikinig sa audio, yung right hand mo nasa mouse, yung left hand mo nakaturo, literal, sa monitor. So, lahat yan gumagana. Kakaintindihan. Try nyo siyang practicein kapag nag-exam kayo ng mock. No? Malaking tulong yan. So, one of the main concerns of map is direction. Hindi natin maintindihan nasan ba yung adjacent, saan ba yung across, no? East. Ayan, no? It's a good thing meron tayong compass. Paano kung wala? Tatandaan natin na ang north ay nasa taas, ang south ay nasa baba. So, yung east and west, kaya ako nadidistinguish yan, yung east and west. Kasi pag nasa mapa, di ba, yung West Philippine Sea, nasa kaliwa yun. Yun yung pinag-aagawa natin, no, ng China. So, yun isa ko sa palatandaan na yung west ay nasa left. So, be good with directions, ha? Okay. So, ituloy natin ang audio. So, yung aking red marker na to, kunwari ang aking daliri, ha? Okay.
Swimming pool for races and synchronized swimming, and also diving. If you look carefully down there, you can see the train lines. The Olympic site has its own station to encourage the use of public transport. There is also a car park, but it only holds a limited number of cars. The formal park has some specially created water features. If you look out here to the south, you can see a circular ornamental pond. And around to the west, you can relax and sit on a bench to smell the flowers in the rose garden. And finally, up to the north, if you look in front of you now, there's a lake with a small island in the centre. You can hire rowing boats at the boat shed, which you can't see from here. But if you look through the trees, you can see the cafe, which has lovely views across the water. OK, let's climb down now. We will go now and have a look at the nature reserve section of the park, which has opened up natural wetland to the public.
Okay, let's break down. Paano natin naging sagot itong mga to? Break ko lahat from the beginning. Okay. So, itong tower, you are here. Ito yung reference point natin. Imaginein mo, nakatayo ka dyan, kasama yung tour guide, tapos sinisilip-silip nyo kung nasaan yung mga lugar. So, ibig sabihin, kapag pumunta yung tanaw mo dito, kailangan mo rin bumalik dito kasi ito yung, again, reference point mo. Iba po yung ganitong presentation doon sa literal na nag-move kayo. Kasi pag nag-move kayo na, dito na tayo sa zoo, dito yung butterfly garden, hindi mo na kailangan bumalik sa entrance eh. Hindi mo na kailangan bumalik, kailangan mo na siyang sundan as a pattern. No? You have to follow the sequence. Whereas in this case, pabalik ka sa reference point. So pagkatapos mong magbato ng tanaw dito sa kanan, tapos na kayo sa east, ayun na naman siya, sa south daw may pond. So again, south ng tower. So yun ang ating reference point. So sabi niya, dun daw sa east, nandyan daw yung Olympic side, may stadium, swimming pool, indoor arena, may train line, may station, at may car park. So, ayun siguro yun, yung square. Nagets niyan? So, yun si car park. Kaya car park ang sagot ko dito sa 15. Kasi may binanggit siyang blanco. At yun. Tabi ng stasyon. Then, if you look down south, balik na naman ako sa reference point, kaya ako kumaliwa dyan. And then, tumuro ako dito sa baba. South na tayo. There's a circular ornamental pond. Kino-confirm lang natin ha, na nakakasunod tayo sa instructions niya. And on the west, you can sit on the benches daw. Ito siya. And smell the flowers. Siguro, andito yung flowers na papalibutan yung benches sa rose garden. So, malamang rose garden ito. Kasi nandun yung flowers di ba? So, rose garden. Huwag mo siya shortcut na. Shortcut ko lang ngayon yan kasi wala akong writing pad. Then, sa north, meron daw lake. Confirm natin na may small island on the center. Pwede din daw tayo mag-hire ng rowing boats. Pero hindi daw natin makikita. Bakit? Ito yung rowing boat. Ito yung mga puno. So, may harang. Pero kung titingnan mo daw ng mabuti, sa pagitan ng mga puno ito, meron daw cafe. At yun yung square na to. Kaya ang sagot natin sa 17 ay cafe. Madalas po ang map sa section 2, kasi sa section 2, kadalasan puro sila reference ng, we call this, monologue. So isa lang yung nagtutour. Kaya expect nyo na sa section 2, sa section 3, lumalabas ang mga mapa. Spelling, either spelling are accepted, no? Pag tenses, be careful. What past is. So, hanapin mo yung mga be verb that requires your verb to be past participle. Sa spelling naman, gusto ko lang pong i-confirm sa inyo na yung sinasabi nating follow the format of the example given. Example po ito ay match schedule ng Blue Dragons at saka ng Yellow Knights. So we have here your date and we have here your venue. Ang ruling natin pagdating sa answers is you have to complete them. Ibig sabihin, kapag ang sagot mo ay November 5, narinig mo siya as November 5, hindi mo siya pwedeng gawing Nov 5. Nagigets mo siya, no shortcuts. So narinig mo centimeters, hindi mo siya pwedeng gawing cm. Kasi yung narinig mo, you have to complete your answers. But, ulitin ko lang ha, may invalidate po ang ruling kapag meron tayong format of the example given. So pakita ko sa inyo, nakablanko yung date dito. This is for item number 12. Tapos yung venue dito ay British Sports Center. Ganyan yung spelling. Tapos dito nakalagay ay 9 Sept. Tapos ang question 13 nasa venue naman, andun yung blank. Narinig mo ganito. Alright, so the match between the Blue Dragons and Yellow Knights will take place at the British Sports Center on the 8th of September. That is their first match. They will see each other again the following day at the same venue on September 9. Okay, so ang sagot mo dito kay number 12 ay kung narinig mo 8 September. Yan yung narinig mo no? Hindi mo na siya binago. Tama ba? Okay, wala tayong binago. Narinig mo lang siya. Tapos, yung spelling mo ng British Sports Center, ganito. Sanay ka kasi sa American spelling. Yan. So, parehong sagot mo po ay mali. Diba? Akala natin tama, pero yun pala ay mali. Bakit? Kasi, tingnan nyo yung format na nasa table. Yung 8 September na narinig mo, hindi mo siya ipinareha sa kung paano sinulat ito na format na ibinigay. So, dapat yung 8 September naging 8 lang siya, S-E-P-T. Ha? Kagayahin nyo lang po yung format. Again ha, kung wala pong kayong nakikitang table, wala po kayong nakikitang format dun sa section na yon, malaya po kayong gumawa ng sarili nyong version. Pero kung narinig nyo siya as 8th, TH, of September, kung kinakailangan maging yung off, ilagay mo, walang problema. Wala kang magiging issue pagdating sa formatting. O dito naman, bakit may problema? Kasi ano ba naman yan? Kukopyahin mo na lang, oh. Yung center, yan kasi yung pangalan niya, oh. Kumbaga, bininyagan ako sa pangalang Kevon, no? K-E-V-O-N, Kevon. Tapos, ikaw sabi mo, hindi naman common yung Kevon, Kevin ka, Ginawa mong I. Bakit nakikialam ka sa pangalan ko? Yun yung ibig sabihin nun. Kaya ka pa rin mali. So, you have to follow the format of the example given. Once again, pag lumipat ka ng ibang section, ibang rules na naman yung nag-a-apply, ibang format na naman. Kung walang format, malinaw po tayo. Write your answers according to how you heard them. Make sure that your answer is spelled out completely and properly. Anong spelling kung wala po tayong format? American or British? American. Bakit? Ang American po ay internationally acclaimed. Halimbawa lang, yung spelling ng tire. Ang spelling ng tire sa UK, ganyan. Hindi naman yan alam na ganyan ang spelling sa lahat ng bansa, sa UK lang. So, ang spelling talaga niya dapat T-I-R-E. Yung color, may U. Yung odor, may U. O paano kung may sagot ka na odor, may U, tapos may sagot ka na color, walang U. So, nagkaroon ngayon ng improper spelling silang dalawa. Wala kang consistency. Mali na naman yon. Kaya na, ang dami po nagkakamali sa formatting. Formatting is going to be a really critical issue until the end. Kaya may iba na nagtataka, bakit ako mali dito sa sinagot ko na to, sa mock? Kasi nga, baka mali ka sa format. Pero kung wala pong ibinigay, any format would do. Now, dun tayo sa write no more than 3 words and or a number. Sabi dyan, your student number is AE 6812513. Ala, dami kong number lagpas sa 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bagsak na ako. Hindi po ganyan. Hindi po yun ang ibig sabihin nun, no? So, AE space 681 space 2513. Or AE 681 2513. So among these three options, sino po kaya ang pinakatama sa kanila? Among the three options. Sabi niya, my student number is AE 6812513. So sabi ni sir, dahil nagpo-pause siya, baka may hyphen. Sabi naman ng isa, dahil nagpo-pause siya, may space. Sabi niya, it doesn't matter whether there's hyphen or spaces. Because what matters is the order in which those numbers and letters occur. Again, ano ang tama? Lahat sila ay tama. Pero, magiging mali lang to kung meron kang nakalagay na write no more than 2 words or write no more than 1 word. Kasi, yung sinasabi po natin na write no more than 3 words, gusto ko lang ipakita sa inyo ha. Unahin ko muna ito. Ang sagot mo ay January 23 to January 25. Yan po ay lagpas sa 3 words. Bakit? Yung date po is regarded as 1 unit. So kung bibilangin mo yan, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So anong gagawin mo para malimit yan at maging 3 words lang? First, yung 2 gawin mong hyphen. Kasi ang hyphen ay hindi word, siya po ay simbolo. 4 pa rin yan. So, remove the repetition. Yan na po ang write no more than 3 words and or a number. So, ibig sabihin, kung ang sagot mo ay AE, that's 1 unit. 681, may hyphen That's your second unit. 2513, that's your third unit. So, kung write no more than 1 word ka, pag nag-space at nag-hyphen ka, magiging tig-3 yan. Kaya ang pinaka-safe, wala. Malinaw. Kung write no more than 1 word, ha? Okay.
Pero kung yun pa yung sinagot sa yung kabilang, yung 1 word, patama pa rin po yan kahit po no more than 3 words lang.
Kung no more than 3 words, okay. Kung write no more than 1 word, hindi okay.
Mamali po yan.
Mamali to. Kung write no more than 1 word. Kasi, ulitin natin.
Sir, pagka-write more than 3 words, tapos ang sinagot ko yung...
Eto?
Hindi sir, yung ikatlo.
Eto? Tama pa rin. Kaya pinaka-safe, walang hyphen, walang space. Dahil pasok siya sa write no more than 3 words, write no more than 1 word. Oftentimes naman, dun sa mga answers nyo, may blank, may hyphen na siya. So, if you fill out nyo na lang yun. Given na siya.
Meron ba sir yung kunyari instances na kunyari 8E dash, sasabihin niya yung may dash, 681 dash.
Actually, wala kaming na-encounter pa na gano'n. Sa dami ng exam na pakinggan ko na, sa dami ng mock, wala silang binabanggit na dash. Kasi dashes, ang ina-assume nga natin, pag nag-pause, that means, kailangan na natin mag-dash. Usually kasi ang dash, nakalagay siya mismo doon sa format So kung may dash na siya doon, tulad nga nung ito, bawa, item number 3, may blank, tapos may 2 dash. Kada pause niya, doon mo siya i-insert. Automatically, justified na yun. Yan. So once again, kung walang format, narinig mo 23rd of November, ganito mo siyang isasagot. Otherwise, narinig mo November 23, ganito mo siyang isasagot. Okay? Once again, ang mananaig po lagi ay yung format ng example na nandoon. Units of measurement, sabi mo dyan, 3M. 3 meters. Bakit 3M? Pwedeng million yan, no? Unless, again, mananaig pa rin ang format. Nakalagay, item number 4, 25M by 16M by blank. O, doon ka mag-M. Nakukuha po? Kasi, yun yung format naman. Pag sinulat mo namang meters, doon ka naman mali. So, lagi pong mananaig dyan ang ating format na binigay dun sa example given. Paano yung monetary signs? So, yung dollar sign. Dati kasi, walang problema kapag pen and paper based kasi susulat mo lang yan eh. Ngayon ang tanong, sir, paano pag may sinabing yen? Hindi ko alam yung yen sa keyboard. Okay, mag-alala, wala pong silang ilalagay doon. Sir, paano po kung sakasakaling meron? Spell out mo. Kung sakasakaling pong kailangan ko maglagay ng yen at di ko alam yung symbol. Pwede mong spell out. Yen, pounds, dollars, yan.
Pero pag i-spell out, sir, yung word nahuhuli na.
Yes.
Kasi diba,
Yes.
sir, usually yung symbol na
Yes.
una sa digit, kahit huli yun binabasa parang $25, pero
Yes.
sa una yung...
Exactly. Yun siya. But again, the chances of that from happening is as close to zero. Dahil wala pa tayong na-encounter na ganyan. Lahat na makikita nyo na kailangan nyo ng currency, na may kakaibang currency na hindi mo makikita sa keyboard, automatically given na yan. Just in case lang, sir, paano kung like nabaliktad po ang sitwasyon, biglang nagkaroon ng glitch sa mundong ito, no? Wala kang magagawa kung i-spell out.
Now turn to section 3. Section 3. You will hear two friends discussing a course they have just done. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 27. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 27.
Oh, Ben, I just remembered I never filled in that form for Nick.
Ah.
Did you do it?
The course feedback form.
Yes. If you want, we can do it together. I've got mine here.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's have a look then. What do we have to do?
Let's fill in the top first. Let's see. Course code.
It's communication in business.
Okay. Communication in business. I do know that, but what's the code?
CB16 something. CB162, isn't it?
That's it. Okay. And dates. When did we start? I remember my birthday's on May 4th, and it was the day after. It must have been May 5th.
Gosh, doesn't seem that long ago, does it?
No. And we finish at the end of this week on Friday, so that's July 15th.
16th.
Oh.
Monday was the 12th.
Yeah.
Right, that was the easy bit. Now, let's have a look. Please give your comments on the following aspects of the course. Okay, what's the first one? Oh, course organisation. What do you think?
Sagot nyo sa 21. May 5th. Sagot nyo sa 22. 16th. Okay. So, hanap lang ako ng practice natin. Okay? Sa mga nasa Zoom, popos ko lang saglit. Si Iris, Lizelle, Marion, Neth, Rhea, Rochelle, Ronnie. I'll pause this for a while. Hanapin ko lang yung ating practice. So, dito muna tayo sa map.
Part 2. You will hear an archaeologist who is part of a community project to excavate an ancient village talking to members of the public who are visiting the site. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16.
So we have bridge foundations, may drop-down menu, A, B, C, D, F, G. At andito siya, scattered across. So yung mga ano natin sa A, may fence, may tree. B, nasa north, river. C, may daan, parang road end siya. E, pagitan ng trees. F, dito sa north western part. G, site of current dig. And D, nasa kalagitnaan siya. Rubbish pit, meeting hall. Saan kaya meeting hall? Siguro dito, mukhang maganda yung meeting hall. So ina-anticipate na natin saan yung pwedeng answers. Fish pond. Kaya yan. So, siguro malapit yan sa river. Pwede, no? Pwedeng C. Natin sure. So 1 minute yun to look at questions.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 16.
Hello, I'm Hayden. I'm one of the archaeologists investigating the site here at Bidcaster. This is the third summer for this community project, and most of the people digging here are volunteers. I'm a full-time archaeologist for the town council, but I was asked to join the project by NHA, a charity which sets up projects like this up and down the country. As you can see, we're next to Bidcaster Castle, which is great because the owners let us use their facilities. So, how did we get to where we are today? Many archaeology projects happen when an ancient object is found, and in our case, that object was a gold coin. Coins are often found by people using metal detectors to look for things buried in the ground, or coins are uncovered when wild animals like rabbits have been digging tunnels. Here, a walker found it on the ground after a rainstorm washed away some of the earth and sand. When the story of the gold coin hit the news, Peter Swift, an amateur historian, contacted me to say he believed there had been a village on this site, centuries before the castle was built. Just by chance, the team found some old maps and documents in our library, which showed 500-year-old drawings of ruined buildings on the grassy area between the outer stone walls of the castle and the river. We knew then we were onto something. Over the 3 summers the team has been here, we found the remains of several buildings, and more broken pots than you can count. Normally you'd expect to find brooches and other jewellery, but we're still waiting to uncover any such items. The people who once lived here were skilled at making tools from animal bones, as you'll see when you visit the exhibition. Besides the discovery of the village, we've also found evidence of human activity on the other side of the river. No other houses or huts so far, but we can see the borders of an ancient field system. At one point we found a long wall and thought it was an ancient palace, but it turned out to be a modern wall. This summer's work will end soon, but we'll be back next summer. In the meantime, we're putting on a series of guided tours for school groups this autumn. Oh, and maybe you saw the TV documentary about our project. That suggested the objects we've found are going to the town's museum, but we don't know that for sure yet.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 17 to 20. Now listen, and
please make sure you keep to the paths at all times. There are a few other things, the highlights of the site, if you like, that I want to mention. Take a look at the map. Our present location is marked at the bottom. This year, we've identified the foundations of an ancient bridge. And it's really exciting today because a team of divers are in the river searching for lost objects.
Diver in the river.
To reach the bridge, take the main path ahead of you, go straight on, and keep going till the path bends to the left.
Left.
You'll see a smaller track leading off to the right. Follow that to take you to the river, where the divers are. You might be interested to see the rubbish pit. This is very near the castle walls in the northwest corner of the site.
Northwest,
It actually dates to the time of the castle and not the ancient village. We found oyster shells and fish bones, and we assumed they were thrown from the castle kitchen above. One area we excavated in the first summer uncovered the site of a meeting hall. We knew it was an important building because it had 2 rows of post holes, deep enough to support a large roof. It's the largest structure in the central area of the site, next to the current excavation area. Last year, we discovered a fish pond in the ancient village. Normally, these were beside a river. The pond here is further away, but it's possible the river has moved slightly. Anyway, to get there from here, you turn right at the first information board you come to and follow the path into the trees.
Trees.
Before you come out of the trees, you'll see it on your right.
Ito
If you reach the river, you've gone too far.
Oo nga,
So, does anyone have...
Gets niya? Tingnan natin. Tumama tayo, ha?
That is the end of part 2. You now have 30 seconds to check your answers to part 2.
Ganon ang map. Isa pa. Yan nga. Ito naman. 1 to 10. Ito, tatype mo talaga siya. So, yun ang problema.
Paano, sir, kung mali yung spelling?
Pwede. Actually, incorrect spelling is wrong. Talaga, naman. Naka-enjoy pala to. Kailangan natin ng laser. Yan. Para makikita niya, na.
Part 4. You will hear part of an environmental science lecture about the impact of birds of prey on a farming community in Africa. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40.
One minute. Destroy blank and other rodents. Help prevent farmers from being bitten by blank. They have been an important part of local culture. They now support the economy by encouraging blank in the area. Tourism kaya yon. The birds may be accidentally killed by blank when hunting or sleeping. Hunting. Sino ba nag-hunt at saka nag-sleep? Pwedeng tao? By humans? By electrocution from power lines, especially during times of high volume, high winds, high storm. Local farmers may illegally shoot them or hunt them, providing a blank for chickens. Expensive daw yun. Manure, support, pwede. Keeping frightening birds of prey by keeping a scarecrow, making a doll with metal.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Yeah.
We've been looking at different types of conflicts that may arise between wildlife and humans at the boundaries of protected areas, such as national parks and animal sanctuaries. I'd like to illustrate this by telling you about some research that I've been involved in recently in the Central African country of Zambia, in the area around the Chembe Bird Sanctuary, which contains over 300 of the listed birds of Zambia. These include a number of birds of prey, such as eagles, hawks, and owls, that live by hunting and killing other birds and animals. Now, most of the people living in the local communities near to the bird sanctuary are small-scale farmers, and these birds of prey provide important social and ecological benefits to them. For example, a lot of damage can be caused to farmers' crops by rodents, such as rats, which would consume the crops as they grow in the fields, as well as after harvesting if they weren't hunted and killed by the birds. And the predatory habits of these birds also protect farmers in other ways. For example, a major danger to rural workers is snakes, whose bite may be dangerous or even fatal, and birds of prey have a major role in keeping their populations under control. Local people have always been aware of these benefits, and for years, even before the sanctuary was opened in 1973, the birds played a key role in the culture of the region. However, more recently, the sanctuary and its birds have also become increasingly important to the community in economic terms, because at present, after a relatively slow start, tourism has become an important source of revenue for them. However, although these birds of prey are protected by the government, their numbers are falling. Some of these deaths are accidental. Fatalities occur when birds alight on roads to catch and eat their prey, and are hit by fast-moving traffic. Drivers in Zambia have to take special care at night, as birds may regard the quieter roads as safe places to sleep. Accidental deaths may also occur if these birds fly close to high-voltage power lines, as they may be electrocuted. This is a particular danger in the heavy rain, which can occur in the region in the months from December to April. And local farmers also pose a threat to these birds. As well as growing crops, small-scale farmers in the area also rear chickens. These provide food for the farmers' families, as well as being an important source of income. But they're also an easy target for birds of prey, and so farmers may shoot these birds, which is illegal but understandable. Or they may poison the birds, which again is illegal and can have negative effects on the ecosystem. So, how else can farmers protect their chickens from birds of prey? Some people believe that to prevent the predators from settling near the area where the chickens are kept, it's best to keep this area free from vegetation. But in fact, this is counterproductive, as it means the chickens have no cover to hide in, and they'll be easier for the birds to see. Another possibility would be to prevent the chickens from going outside at all, and to keep them safe from predators inside a building. But this would cost far too much to be a practical solution. Nearly all the farmers reported that they spent a lot of time and effort trying to frighten off the birds of prey without actually harming them. Most of the farmers had at least one dog and said this was a big help at scaring away the predators. Some of the farmers also reported that during the breeding season, when the chickens were particularly vulnerable, they encouraged their children to watch over the chickens and to hit pans with a metal spoon so that the resulting noise would succeed in driving away birds that were trying to seize the young chicks. None of these methods was 100% effective, so as a result, the village people told us that rather than just using one method, they were forced to use a combination for them to have any effect. And even so, these birds of prey remain a major threat to the chicken's survival and cause considerable economic loss to farmers. So we looked at the possibility of a longer-term solution.
By cars? Drivers?
That is the end of part 4.
Electrocution.
You now have 1 minute to check your answers to part 4.
Sige, wala tayong sagot sa 4 and 5. Hula natin humans or drivers. 5, either rain or voltage. May gustong tumulong dito sa mga nasa Zoom. Kung meron kayong may share sa 4 and 5. Kasi hindi namin ito nasundan. Oo. Sige, tingnan natin kung ano yung mga possible answers. Ting! Traffic! Uy, rain! Tama! Building! Okay. So, by traffic? Okay. Pag nagtutulog sila at saka, natutulog sila at saka nag-hunt sila, pwede silang mabangga ng traffic. Traffic kasi is the generic term sa lahat ng nasa kalsada. No? And then, shelter ang nilagay ko, building pala dapat. Building for chickens. Tama yung rain. No? High rain.
That is the end of the listening test.
Okay na, kung di tayo humula.
In the IELTS test, you would now have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the listening answer sheet.
Alright, so that is the end. Nakapag-take ako ng exam ng di oras dahil sa inyo. So, maraming salamat, Lizelle, Iris, Marion, Neth, Rhea, Richelle, Ronnie. Wala pong tatalo sa hands-on real-life experience na pwede nyong ma-encounter. Every Tuesday, every Thursday. Kung hindi po pwede po kayong mag-message sa FB group ng Niner Cabanatuan, Niner FB page. Ask for the link. Huwag niyo pong iabuso, no? Dahil makakaptcha tayo. Baka wala tayong mapakinabangan lahat, no? So, huwag niyo siyang i-share sa iba. Thank you very much. Mag-ingat kayo sa paparating na bagyo. Have a nice day. God bless and good luck.